All right. Hello and welcome to the Holo Herald Podcast. We are streaming live from our usual location. We're a little bit later than normal. Sorry about that. If you're joining us right now, welcome. Go ahead and drop us some comments if you guys are interested about talking about anything, or go ahead and just hit us up on Twitter or whatever you want to at the Holo Herald. If you're watching this on the pre-recorded version, you guys can catch us live every Monday night from about 7:30 to 8 is when we'll start. We'll go for about an hour. And yes, so I guess we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Today I'm joined by my two good friends. Go ahead and introduce yourself, guys.
Hey guys, it's Austin here, the Holo Herald. Excited for this edition of the Holo Herald Podcast. Not really sure what we're going to be discussing today, but hopefully we'll get some good topics. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. And yeah, excited to be here.
And who else do we got here?
And I'm here. I'm Alex. Excited to be able to be here again, and I'm really looking forward. I found some exciting stuff, and really excited to go over it with you guys.
Yes. So it looks like we got a couple viewers in with us. We got Joe, and we got Gerald so far. Sweet. Well, welcome to the stream, you guys. It looks like I think this is both your guys' first time. I don't think we've seen you guys here before. Joe, we'll just start out with a couple of comments that are already there. Joe says he caught the fridge video and how interesting it was, and that video actually surprisingly turned out to be kind of fun one to make. What do you guys think about that video?
Oh yeah, definitely. Do you remember where that idea came from?
Oh, I have no idea. I think it was number one HoloLens fan just like said it jokingly once, and I was like, actually, that'd make a pretty good video, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really, really interesting, the results that came out. Like, I wasn't really expecting it to be that responsive, but it was really impressive.
Yeah, the results really surprised me. Like, I just kind of, like, we almost did it as a joke. Like, you and Austin just took the camera and the HoloLens and said, hey, let's go do this. But actually looking at the footage you guys took away, it was something that really surprised me, and I came away impressed from it.
Yes, I think it totally showcased some of the mapping abilities, and it actually kind of displays it's a really good way to explain to people how good of sorry, there's a lot of comments coming in. Welcome everybody to the stream. This is awesome. We've never had this many people before. So it actually really showcases how well the HoloLens so mixed reality is something that's really hard to explain to somebody if they haven't tried it before, especially the fact that you actually have a hologram in your space. And I think putting it in something and closing it and seeing that it disappears, I think it really showcases that ability, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it didn't handle the fridge super well, but it handled the closet super well. I mean, were you guys surprised by the findings at all?
Well, I mean, it was to be expected, like, with scanning it in, and it makes sense, like, that's what the software is meant to do when you scan in something and it maps it out and then you rescan it. I think it'd be cool in the future if like it was like real-time scanning all the time and like just fluid and natural as possible. I think that's something to look forward to in the future of mixed reality.
Yes, it totally is. Okay, looks like we got some other comments. Gerald says, how's it going? It's going great. Great weather finally. First podcast, networking with the HoloLens. I wonder about that. So what do you mean by networking, Gerald? Explain that a little bit more for us. We got Tristan out there, and we got Joseph. Whose head is over the junk? That is actually Alex's head. Go ahead and speak up, Alex. Introduce yourself again real quick.
Yep, that would be me. Basically, these two dirtbags do whatever they want with my head. Like, put me in the Matrix or put me in front of the junk of a timeless masterpiece. This is what I have to deal with every day.
So the background behind this picture is actually funny. So we got this picture, but right around the same time we found this picture is it is the same time that YouTube started getting really persnickety and started flagging a lot of stuff. And we got kind of worried that even though it was just a little tiny penis, it would have been totally... I'm even scared saying penis on air that we're going to get flagged or something like that. Don't you? I don't know.
This is a classic piece of art. Like, I think we'd be totally fine with leaving it blank.
I I don't know, dude. YouTube's a scary place. Anyways, Joseph, welcome to the stream. We are gonna hit you up. Joseph is over at AR Dirt, so you guys can go over and check out his stuff. It's really awesome. I mean, it's like a total legacy of augmented reality and all of that kind of stuff. And he's invited us over onto his podcast, and we've totally accepted. We've just been really laggy at getting our stuff for him that we need. So you guys can go ahead and over and check out his stuff. It's really awesome. And hopefully we'll be on there soon. But he's got lots of content. I mean, like hours and hours and hours. I mean, you could just work and listen or play video games and listen for hours. Totally worth checking out.
It's an awesome channel.
It is. So, a computer networking, like multiple HoloLens connecting together and whatnot. Okay, so Gerald, that's a great topic, actually. This is something we sadly have not been able to touch on our channel that we've really wanted to. Networking with the HoloLens is actually extremely simple. All you do is you connect them to the same Wi-Fi spot, and they are basically connected. That's how it registers everything. That's how it handles everything. And so if I put a hologram in the room, both HoloLenses are going to see where it is and how it's connected and everything like that. And you can play games together, and you're all seeing the same thing. And it's a really cool shared mixed reality environment. Something you're not going to see in any other spectrum, not in VR or AR, really. It's something that's kind of very a sole experience to the HoloLens right now.
Do you know any good games that are out there for like multiplayer HoloLens use?
I don't know of any yet that are marketed as it, but I know there's a lot in development. There's a really cool video you guys can go check out. If you guys check out Sword Art Online, it's an anime thing, but there's a guy that's it's like think of like World of Warcraft, kind of an MMO, and he's kind of making an MMO game where as you walk around and you see people, they've got their names above their head, they've got their stats, and you can like actually battle them right there and stuff, but it's a mixed reality universe and stuff. It's really cool, actually. And there's lots of other stuff. There's like wizard duels where you like stand on the other side of the room, and there's a Tron thing that I've seen where you throw a disc back and forth. And so yeah, there's lots of cool ideas in development, but you guys can tell them why we haven't been able to experience that content really.
Yeah. Well, we don't have two HoloLenses, sadly. And I think it would be awesome to have one, but our budget really doesn't have room for that right now.
Exactly. We'd love to have a second. There's actually something really cool that you can do with the second HoloLens that no other channels are really taking advantage of, that we would love to take advantage of. You can tell them a little bit about it, Austin. Austin knows quite a bit about the camera-mounted HoloLens. The camera-mounted HoloLens.
Oh yeah, so there's this device that Microsoft released that you shoot with a HoloLens, and it's mounted with this device, and you can hook up any camera that peers through it, and you can see the mixed reality experience that the person is, because it's connected via the network through this device, and it's really awesome, and you can like 3D print this mount for the HoloLens. The source code for the software is free, and I'm not sure where to find it though.
Yeah, no, it's called HoloLens Spectator View. Yeah. Gerald just mentioned it, actually. It's really cool. They actually just gave this out one day. We've talked about it in one of our previous podcasts, but we can go ahead and we can rehash it a little bit. It's really cool to see HoloLens take advantage of the technology that's available to them, and then just giving it out for free. I feel like a lot of companies would have sold this as an extra add-on or as a completely different device, but literally it's all free and open source. The CAD designs are all on it. You can just search Spectator View GitHub and it'll come right up, and it's really cool. We want one so bad because we think that would be a really great way to show that someone is in a mixed reality universe to a spectator. I mean, that's obviously what it's made for.
And then I don't have to Photoshop cheesy thumbnails of like.
But you're so good at it, Austin. But Eric, with that design, I had a thought. What kept Microsoft from just patenting it and then selling it out to people? Like, why did they release all that information when they easily could have made a profit off of this? Why do you think they did that?
So I think the way they're marketing it isn't for like normal everyday users like us. It's more for like businesses and conferences. So since mixed reality is now very like a solo experience, you have to put on the headset and it's from that person. If you decide to cast it, it's from that person's point of view. You don't really get the scope of the world, the reality that the person's in. But with the spectator view, you could essentially get multiple, 4K camera angles, and totally spectate it to a whole audience of people. Let's say you're giving a conference and you're showing off a new car design, and there's hundreds of people, thousands of people in the audience, and then you have all these different angles that you could show it from. It's just way easier. But the reason I don't think they gave it for free is because you already paid $3,000 for the HoloLens. Hopefully in good faith, they just want you to be able to show it to people more. It's basically marketing for them, I think, in a way.
Definitely.
But just today we were filming like HoloLens in the forest, and how cool that would have been to have an extra camera rig. And it's cool. You guys should go check out the pictures if you guys have a second, where you can just is the HoloLens basically just sitting on top of a camera, and you can hook it up to 4K cameras, 1080p cameras, and get actually HD recordings, which is something we don't have. I mean, it's 720p, so it's theoretically HD, but not by today's standards HD.
Oh, not at all, nowhere near.
It's super cool. So sorry, let's catch up on some of these comments. Joe says he listens to the podcast. We do too. They're awesome. No Bluetooth. Yes, there is Bluetooth on the HoloLens. That's actually how you connect the clicker, and that's how you connect. You can connect a wireless keyboard if that's your thing. So there is Bluetooth. That's just not how they connect to each other. They like SAO, the Tron app. Okay, what are some of the next uses of HoloLens training basis learning that you expect on the horizon? Training-based learning that you guys see. That video game-based integration was amazing. Fridge was very bare. Need a shopping run, guys. Exactly. That'd be cool. So training. Ed, Joseph, this is actually something we were planning on bringing up on your podcast. You said that you were a retired cop, and I feel comfortable saying that because you say that on your podcast all the time. We were thinking of all the military applications. Now, we'll give you guys a little teaser right here just because you guys are in the stream. We're actually planning on making a shooting with the HoloLens video, and because we're all avid gun people here. It's just in our culture around where we live. And we thought it would be very interesting for training exercises to be able to put actual holograms, and just thinking about SWAT running through a building, how you could actually have, actual scenes laid out, right? What are some of our ideas we have for the shooting video?
Well, we have ideas where we're gonna get like use like the holograms app and place holograms out like at different distances with the HoloLens, and then shoot.
Stay close to your mic.
And shoot the targets with it. Just to be able to have those targets there. Obviously you're not physically hitting anything, but you can also set up like a box out there or something with a target on it, but have the hologram overlay it.
Yes. And we were interested to see, looking at HoloLens through a scope. We don't know what that would do. Like looking through glass is normally fine, but something so narrow as a scope, we'd like to see if we put a hologram pretty far out there, and then we look through a scope if we could see the hologram and essentially snipe it. For sniper training, you could actually have an object moving around at different distances and stuff. And so as far as like military and application, the applications are endless. The options are endless. What about you, Alex? What are some learning-based or training-based applications you can see for the HoloLens?
Well, yeah, instantly, like, the first thing that comes to mind would be, like, target practice or something like that. But if we're talking about, like, training, I actually found an article not too long ago that would kind of tie into physical therapy. Now, at Microsoft, there's a woman that works at Microsoft who suffers from something called myoclonus dystonia, which is actually a pretty nasty condition that causes misfires in the brain, which causes uncontrollable muscle spasms, which means at various times of the day, her arm, like, instantly just, like, shoots off into, like, a different position, and she can't change it. She was talking about how at one point her head was, like, stuck in like, she could only look down, and she couldn't move her head up to look where she was going, and it made it very hard for her to walk. and her husband had to help her, and she noticed that the more that she looked at her husband's feet, she was able to focus less about her feet, and that consequently made it easier for her to walk. And she got this great idea, hey, why don't I get a group together and we do something for Hackathon for the HoloLens? So what she's done is, and it's not an official app, but like found on the store, I don't think. I kind of tried looking for it, but they do have a little prototype at Microsoft, and they have some videos showing them putting patients through various tests with the HoloLens, trying to rewire their brain to make different signals become stronger to basically cure them of this disability, which is incredible, because this woman goes on to say how when she first was diagnosed, like she was told that it was going to be very painful, there's going to have to be a lot of medication, and ultimately there was no cure. So not only, not only is it rehabilitating her, it is curing her of this. And, they're doing, like, her and her group, there's about 4 or 5 people, including her husband, that are trying to get this mainstream to ultimately come up with a cure for something that there wasn't originally, which I think is incredible that, this was made possible by the HoloLens.
I saw something similar to that, actually. It was so when soldiers or amputees, they get their limbs cut off, right? They get phantom feelings, right? When they feel like their limbs are still there, they're moving, or they feel like they have an itch or a tickle in their arm, or they feel like they can still move their arm. And it can actually be really detrimental to how that person lives their life and how they exist and how they get around, because it can totally shut down someone when you're thinking like that. And someone built this app where you wear the HoloLens and you put something on your arm, and it actually would map where your arm would be moving if it was really there. It puts like a simulated hand there, and that really helped people out with that disassociative feeling where they're feeling like their arm isn't there. And Gerald just posted up there about some medical uses for nurse training. And I think the medical industry and the uses are endless, right, guys?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, so let's get back to some questions. So great question. Keep them coming if you guys have more of them. What do you think of the ship date for the new MR tether? Gerald asks, what do you think of the ship date for the new MR tethered headsets? Do you guys think there will be VR MR aspect for Project Scorpio? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let Austin take this one away.
About Project Scorpio?
Yes, sir.
Well, if we take a look at what Microsoft released with the specifications, like Jesus the Russian said, there is only one HDMI output. So it really doesn't look like Scorpio is heading in the direction of VR. But I'm totally fine with that. If we get a good 4K experience with the Xbox. But it certainly doesn't seem like they're heading in that direction with virtual reality.
Yeah, Project Scorpio is pretty cool, actually. The ideas they have planned out for it, and I didn't read the super specs out yet, like the exact specs, but just the rumored specs are supposed to be pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's awesome.
The Project Scorpio is pretty intense stuff, and it's cool to see them pushing Microsoft to being able to pushing these new specs quickly out and new technology so quick. Do you see MR gaming, Alex? You played Fragments and stuff. Tell us about your experience with Fragments.
Well, first off, Fragments was just kind of my first exposure to anything, any augmented reality, be it augmented, virtual, or mixed reality, because I never really got into the Oculus Rift and stuff like that. So Fragments was really my first immersive experiment for a prolonged period of time. So, and the first thing that caught my eye was just how immersive it was. Just at one point, you guys saw who saw the video, that one lady just sat on the table and used that as a little chair. The AI interacted with my surroundings, and I thought that was pretty dang cool, because that is something I'd never seen before. Also, just kind of how it turned my room into the crime scene. It was able to turn my room into the bottom of the ocean, and I could see a shark, I could see a turtle. It was pretty dang cool. And I had a lot of fun with it. It was a very good first time,
Yeah, so we talk about gaming a lot because mostly when new users come and see the HoloLens, they see it for gaming purposes. Like people think of it for business purposes, but most of the time for a user base, we wouldn't be using it daily to for business stuff unless it was for business. Sorry, that was a confusing sentence, but hopefully you get what I mean. And one thing we try to tell people is that don't expect a whole lot of gaming content, but then things from mixed reality and stuff like that, it's just maybe not its niche market. But then we see things like RoboRaid and we see things like Fragments come out, and it totally like makes us eat our words because it's a totally incredible gaming experience that you're not going to achieve through any other medium, and it's pretty awesome. So I'm excited to see it in RoboRaid and other stuff like that. We were thinking about RoboRaid in the forest and how like there'd be a cool like running app where you just run around and robots are chasing you, but it helps you run faster, or zombies are chasing you and it's actually right there. Or the gaming, once you get into it, the gaming ideas are endless. Yes, that was Slack in the background. We use Slack here at the office quite a bit. Oh, so what are some of the other news articles? Go ahead.
One idea we had, was like like geocaching with the HoloLens. Like, do you think that? So, what do you think about that?
Geocaching. So I think map uses. So I was just reading an article today that said by 2030, this is going to be a really, really roundabout way to answer that question. So by 2030, right, we're supposed to see 25% of vehicles are supposed to be self-driven. What's the word? The word's leaving my head for self-driven. Autonomous. Thank you. Autonomous vehicles. They're all supposed to be autonomous. 25% of vehicles are going to be autonomous. Sorry, guys, I'm stuttering really bad right now. And which is actually a lot less than I would have figured by 2030. So that makes me think that mixed reality is going to play a bigger part in travel and getting from point A to point B than previously thought. Because I thought, well, within the next 5 years, all cars are going to be automated anyway, so there's going to be no need for interacting the two together. But with knowing that it's going to be, a good 15 years off, and then even then it's not going to be as significant, that mixed reality is going to play a big role in it. What do you guys think about that? What do you think mixed reality's role is going to be in getting around from point A to point B?
Oh, I think there's multiple applications. I like the idea of having, like, if you're walking somewhere, it lays out an arrow that just takes you to the directions, or like you come to a right or left turn and it tells you which way to turn. Just navigation like that, I think that'd be really helpful. And yeah.
Just to kind of go along with what Austin said, maybe not just like, because like with a phone, like I could be in the car and I could just listen to my phone and wait for it to tell me where to go. And just like driving in the city, that actually, makes finding where I'm supposed to go, like that point B, that makes it a lot easier. So I think it'd be really cool, like HoloLens while driving, if I had it on, and there's like a blue line in front of me that shows me where I need to go. And with my HoloLens, I can see that blue line and I can follow it to my destination. I think that'd be pretty dang cool.
Kind of like a driving line on most racing games, as it kind of gets yellow and red as you're going around corners. Exactly. It actively like tells you what corners going to be, or if like it can. I've always thought that
the HoloLens can help me with my street racing career.
Exactly, you're going to be basically a Forza driver by the time you're done.
Absolutely,
man. So what I always thought is that the sensors in your car are going to be incredibly powerful, right? And more powerful than what's going to be in your HoloLens or your mixed reality set of choice. And what you would do is you would get in and it would automatically connect to your car, and it would start using the sensors of the surrounding area via your car. And I always thought it would check your blind spots for you. It would let you know of all your data around you, and you would have this total heads-up display miles per hour. And it wouldn't be intrusive, because if you use the HoloLens, it's there, but it's not necessarily intrusive, which would be very helpful. Instead of having to turn your head back and look away from the road, you would automatically just know, right there it is. Or a red line, like, hey, you're going too fast for the car in front of you, or all of these different analytics that could be handled right through the headset. And I thought that would I've always thought that'd be cool. I would even think it'd be cool to get that built into my current car, because maybe I don't want to buy a new car for that. I've always wondered if it would be a cool company idea that takes your car in and they add in all these sensors and this semi-autonomy to it, and then you can drive it. I don't know. It's very interesting. So in a roundabout way, to get back to your question, yes, I think it will be cool for geocaching. And I think it'll go along with that kind of mapping idea, and that turning your real surroundings into also a virtual surrounding, if that makes sense, which would be quite exciting. Gerald asks, hygiene question. What do you guys recommend for cleaning it when multiple people are trying it out? I'm hosting a showcase next month at my university. Well, that is a very good question. And I have a little bit of a story to go about this. So when we first got our HoloLens, it was just me and Paul passing it back and forth, and it wasn't too bad, you know? And we're like, okay, this isn't bad. And then we went and we started showing it to people. And you would be amazed how sweaty people get within just 5 minutes of using it, you know? Even if it's just something like RoboRaid, or they just have it on, even if they're just using something simple, you know, like holograms, and they would pull it off, and it would be literally soaked wet. And it's just gross. You don't want to put that on your head. You don't want to pass it on, and it's on your nose, and people are sick. So what we did is we very quickly realized that we should buy disinfectant wipes, and basically we wipe it down every time people use it. And we always keep the microfiber cloth, because people, even if you tell them not to, will always grab the glass. And the glass, you can see smudges on it. I mean, it's probably the most smudgy substance I've ever seen. Wouldn't you guys think?
It's almost
you'd be surprised
impressive
how much I clean that. Yeah, after every use, like, you gotta clean it.
Literally, if it just sits there, nobody touches it. I come back the next day and it's got fingerprints all over the glass. Yeah, and I'm like, holy cow.
They've just magically appeared. Like I said, it's almost impressive just how dirty it gets. It's insane.
So make sure you have your microfiber cloth on you. You don't need to use glass cleaner. It wipes right off. It's really great. Just the microfiber cloth that came with it is perfect. And another thing, make sure you take your extra nose pieces, because if little kids or small people or girls or different types of people, there's different. I guess that's one thing that people don't know about the HoloLens a lot, I think, is that it's actually got adjustable nose pieces. So the HoloLens actually comes with two nose pieces. We always use the smaller of the two, I think, because we're all bigger guys here, so it just makes sense to have us. But whenever I let little kids try it, I give the bigger nose piece, and it makes a world of a difference. I never thought it would be good. So make sure you take the extra nose piece. And what else? We showcased it to a lot of people. What are your recommendations for showcasing it to people?
Well, if you're planning on using it for an extended period of time, make sure you use the strap that comes with it, just for comfort reasons.
Exactly.
I guess make sure they know that it's a $3,000 piece of technology, so they're not like jumping around with it and rolling around on the floor. We've had that a couple of times, but yeah, I mean, it's okay. But
we've showed the HoloLens to a lot of people over our time, like probably in the hundreds, you know, of all different ages, from like 3-year-olds to 90-year-olds, you know, all different people. And it is incredible how fast people pick it up. I've never seen a technology so well understood in such a short time, just so well accepted by the user. You know, even grandparents that are scared to use phones and kids that are masters at phones, you know, they both pick it up at about the same time frame. Some recommendations I would make, beware with the strap. It is kind of annoying taking it on and off with it. Yeah. So the strap is good, but it's not necessary. One recommendation I would make,
Eric, real fast, the strap makes a world of a difference, because it's like in the videos, it's like if I'm playing like RoboRaid or I'm doing Holo Maps, it doesn't take long for your nose, the bridge of your nose, to really hurt. And it hurts, and when you take it off, there's this nasty mark along your nose, and people ask you what it's from. And and doing Fragments in the live stream, we pulled out the head strap, and it made a world of a difference. After over an hour and a half of constant gameplay, like, I barely noticed a problem with my nose. It was incredible. I was surprised, actually. I didn't realize just how big of a help the head strap is. It really is kind of the unsung hero here with
yes,
that issue.
It is. It is. We tell people that. They're like, oh, it's heavy. And we're like, there's a head strap, and it makes such a difference. It just kind of gets in the way when you're taking it on and off repetitively. But for long uses, it's perfect. So probably the best side purchase we've made for the HoloLens is the HoloLens charges through mini USB. This is probably more information than you can get anywhere else on the HoloLens. Like, I mean, you'd have to read through so many forums to hear all this. So the HoloLens charges through mini USB, and it comes with a really nice charger, and it comes with a nice cord. Yes, go. Austin will give you the exact specs. And it comes with a great charger and a nice little cord, but go on Amazon and pick up yourself a 25 or a 15 or a 30 foot, between 15 and 30 foot USB to mini USB cable. It is going to save your life, because even though the HoloLens has pretty good battery life, if you're showing off something like Fragments or RoboRaid and it's being used for a lot of times, the battery's going to die. But what's great is with this, you can use it and charge it at the exact same time, and it makes like a world of a difference, wouldn't you guys say?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Like, being able to walk around and still have it charging is awesome. But just beware, like, it is a long cable, so make sure it's rolled up before you like put it on the table or whatever, so someone doesn't trip on it and rip the HoloLens off the table.
Exactly. And it is pretty good because they were smart. I think they kind of figured for the design, because it kind of comes down in the back. So if someone does step on it while you're wearing it, it'll just pop right out.
Yeah.
And so that is pretty good. But I mean, showing the HoloLens to new people is one of my most favorite things to do, and also one of my least favorite things to do, because I hate going over and teaching people the gestures and teaching people the apps. And when you can't, it's so hard to have someone describe something to you that only they are seeing, and especially if they're not super tech savvy, if they have a menu open and they're in a weird app or something like that and they're like, I'm lost, you're like, well, I can't really help you without seeing it. So, but you don't want to use the live stream to your computer, because it kind of ruins the quality of it for the person. So it's kind of like this equilibrium. You have to make sure you really know the HoloLens and you really know what the person, and for the first like couple minutes that they're using it, you handhold it with them. What are some of your guys' experience with showing people the HoloLens?
Yeah, like you said, they pick it up really quickly, and there's always a big smile on their face. I know you've referred to it as the Hololens Effect.
Yes, I have, yeah.
And it's pretty cool how easily people pick it up. It's really an intuitive piece of technology, and really quite easy to use, and yeah, it's like bleeding edge tech. I love the HoloLens. It's great.
Yeah, one thing.
What about you, Alex?
One thing, and we've kind of talked about this amongst ourselves, is just kind of how desensitized the three of us have become after constant HoloLens use and exposure. Because I recently brought a buddy of mine in, and he showed it, and I showed it to him. I mean, I'm sorry, and he put it on. He's like, "Oh, this is the coolest thing ever!" And like it was like you said, just kind of describing and explaining everything he saw, and he thought it was the coolest thing ever. But I just kind of, like, yeah, I know, it's like, like it's still cool, but I no longer had that same view that my buddy had, and I almost miss it, because I remember the first time Eric showed it to me. Before I got into all this, holy cow, it was so impressive. But now it's just like kind of, HoloLens, pretty cool, huh?
I think, in my opinion, that's the sign of a good tech, is something that's so natural and just makes so much sense that it's just like, yeah, that makes sense. It's like, you're used to it, it's another tool in your arsenal, like a phone. Like the first time you had, I remember when the iPhone first came out, and some of the apps that were out there were so stupid. Like there was an app for like $1 that you would drink beer or something like that. You would just tip it up and the liquid would go down. And how cool that was, and how revolutionary. It's like your phone that you're supposed to be calling people with, you're like drinking beer with, or the like Doodle Jump, or the simplest games. But now everybody has a phone, and now it's a phone. It's an app. For an app to be actually like revolutionary and cool, it has to be pretty incredible, And I think that's kind of how it is with the HoloLens and us. It's just like, yeah, it's just another tool. We're just used to it. And I think that shows that it's not like a novelty item. It's not like a toy. It's not like something like virtual reality that you only use when you want to have fun. It's something that we actually use daily, and we actually use to accomplish tasks or to have a good time, or all of these different uses for it. And we have been talking about that in the office lately, and how it's kind of like we've just kind of become numb to how cool of a technology it is because we expect everybody else to have the same scope and the same reference that we do, but they don't. And it always blows my mind. I always forget that, and it always blows my mind how impressed people are with it. And it's kind of a humbling experience. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it really is.
All right. Well, I think we've beat that horse. So good luck showing people. It's going to be one of the most stressful and the happiest times ever. And people are going to try to take it from you, and people are going to say, you got, Gerald, Gerald, I want you to do a little bit of a study for us if you can, since you're going to be showing it to a lot of people. I want you to pay attention and see if anybody says this will be cool, and not like in a way that's like, oh man, I can't wait to have one of these myself, in a thing that's like, it's almost like they're disassociated with it, like they're detached from what they're doing right now. Like, this will be cool 20, 30 years in the future. Like, this is a fake thing that I'm witnessing right now. I don't know how to explain it.
Like they don't believe it's actually there. They're like, this will be way cool in the future. Like,
yes,
this is the future, man.
It's like, no, this is cool now. You're using it now, sir. You know, it's like you're experiencing this right now. It's not, this won't be cool. You should say this is cool. And it's a really hard concept to explain until you see other people try it. But just do a little research, report back to us, because people always say that to me, and I've never like really actually done a little bit of hard data on it, you know. But I'm curious because it's so hard to explain. But you'll see it when you start showing it to people. All right, let's get to some of these other questions we've skipped. Sorry about this, guys. Okay, so Joseph says, what are your thoughts of HoloLens cities used for emergency management for disaster response for Hurricane Katrina type event? Coordinate police, fire, and EMS. Was it you that left that comment on the video? Because I'm pretty sure, didn't we have someone else leave that comment on one of the videos?
Is this with the Holo Maps?
Yeah, this is with Holo Maps.
Okay. So I've been reading and researching about drone technology and how it's utilized in disaster response. So what if we took a bunch of drones, launched them during the disaster like Hurricane Katrina or whatever, and they analyzed the area and whatnot and got the information of location of people, flooding zones, whatever, and then when we get all that information, we put it in this map, this holographic map, and then rescue volunteers or EMS people or people on the rescue team can look at this map and devise a game plan on how they're going to safely execute a rescue situation or whatever. I don't know, just an idea I had.
So yeah, so exactly, and I think it's kind of it's the fact that Austin's thought about it, the fact that you've thought about it, and that the fact that we've had someone else comment about it. I think that just proves that definitely there's going to be a business that's thought about it. If just us random guys have thought about it, that definitely use. Yeah. I could see some uses for it. It would be cool to see. There's an. Go ahead, Paul. Paul's in the chat right now. He's Jesus the Russian, if you guys are curious. He's our moderator. If you guys have any questions about links or anything like that, go ahead and ask him real quick. Paul, go ahead and post a link to that, the air traffic control. I think Joseph will really like that if you send that to him, if he hasn't seen it yet already. Go ahead and post that in the chat. So there's an app that is a live air traffic control kind of thing. So you could pull up a map of the United States or the world or whatever, and it actually shows all of the planes flying around and their paths that they're taking, and it looks really cool. And I could totally see something like that in emergency response. So using they could hook it. Google and Facebook kind of already have like their little mini emergency response. Google has like the alerts, like, hey, you're in a disaster area, watch out. And Facebook has the check-in version where it's like, hey, you let everybody know that you're okay. And I think I could see both of these features getting integrated with the Microsoft HoloLens, because Google, in all their wisdom and all their awesomeness, knows basically where everybody is 24/7. They can know these people are at this bakery, these people are at this street corner, people are traveling from here to here, and they could use that data to find during a disaster like a hurricane, they could find where the highest density of people are and target that location and say, okay, this is where we should center our efforts to getting people out, to showing people where it's going to be hit, letting people know they're in the blast area, and actually giving them a visual representation of what that's going to be like. Be like. And so, yes, AR plane finder. Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's really cool. So that's one of the ways I think about it. What about you, Alex? Do you have any quick ideas off your head?
Well, right now it's not an idea, but something that you guys have mentioned, that Austin's talked about, is like these maps that kind of give you a real-time, chart of what's going on. One feature, and I'm kicking myself for not showing this, but one feature that Holo Maps does is the traffic. You can see, you'll be looking at your little interface. You've got 3D buildings that go about up to your waist.
Doesn't it do Twitter posts?
Yeah, it does Twitter posts. But let me get to the traffic. It has lines tracing the streets and everything, and colors, green, yellow, and red, based on congestion and traffic flow. And it changes right in front of your eyes, from green to yellow to red, back to green. It's pretty cool. So, I could be at work, right? And I could track, the route from my work to my house and see what traffic's looking like right before I even head out.
And we already have that with the phone, but you kind of get a better scope of it with a mixed reality perspective. An actual city plopped right down there.
Yeah, because your phone kind of tells you, GPS, there is traffic up ahead, but this shows it to you. This shows you just how bad or just how good and how long it's estimated to take. It's pretty impressive.
And Austin mentioned there's like a Twitter thing too, which I actually kind of like. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, okay, so on the Holo Maps, it has live Twitter feeds based on location. So, let's say someone's at this really fancy restaurant in downtown Chicago, and they tweeted about it, and it pops up on the Holo Maps view, and you're like, oh, so people are like, that's trending, that restaurant, let's go to that restaurant. I don't know, it's kind of cool just how it's all networked together, and you get a lot, the city is alive because of everyone's tweets.
Yeah, once I noticed, actually, right by the Space Needle in Seattle, while I was on Holo Maps, somebody tweeted something about how beautiful the sunrise was. And I thought that was pretty interesting, that, I know that there's a beautiful sunrise in Seattle right now because someone in the Space Needle was looking at it.
That
was pretty cool.
And yet again, it's another example of where there's apps out there that do these already, but at the same time, it's definitely, it's a whole different perspective. It gives you a whole different look of things to actually see it in your space in that 3D world. And I think Holo Maps showcases that. Holo Maps is probably one of our favorite apps. It's just so well done.
Oh, absolutely.
It really showcases that that's the scope, the magnitude of what you're looking at. When you go to Google Maps, it's cool to see that there's 3D buildings and they seem big, or Mount Everest or those different stuff. But when you actually go in King Kong mode, you can really see how tall this building is versus this building, or I don't know. It's really impressive, and it just showcases. Yeah, Godzilla mode. It showcases a lot of technologies coming together to make a really cool experience. All right, let's see what else we got here. Plane Finder. Yes, AR Plane Finder. It's a cool app. We haven't downloaded it and we haven't tried it out yet, but we'll probably be making a video about it soon. Oh yeah, so Joseph says, Alex, that he loves your reaction to the guy pointing a gun at the kid in Fragments. Yeah, I remember. That's one of the reasons we have Alex try apps. Is he's still got that twinkle in his eye for mixed reality.
Isn't Alex just the greatest?
In my defense, somebody holding a gun to a kid isn't something you see in many movies or in television shows, let alone a virtual reality video game. I think it's safe to say that was the last thing I saw coming when I turned my HoloLens on that morning.
I guess that's a good point. But it's cool. It's visceral too. Isn't it such a visceral experience? Because if you would have seen that on your iPhone or a video game on your TV, you wouldn't have had the same reaction. You wouldn't have had the exactly what Joseph's saying. You wouldn't have had the reaction to it. The fact that it was like sitting in our office, like 2 feet away from you, right?
Yeah, because like it's one thing seeing it on a screen, but there it was right next to me. Like I could walk around it. I was walking circles around somebody holding a gun to a little boy's head. And, you know, I mean, I might have overreacted a little bit, but I thought not only was it cool, but it was a little bit unnerving as well.
Exactly. It kind of akens back. We'll do a little bit of callback. Joseph, when you were talking about the response to, for training purposes, and you mentioned active shooters and stuff like that. Well, we've talked about this in podcasts way long ago, so I won't rehash it too quickly. But there's like those shooting galleries where you go to the shooting range and they have a projector across the wall, and they're live fire training, and they will put you through scenarios, but it's just like a flat screen and they're all pre-scripted, and they actually go out and film them and do all this work, and it's a big budget thing, you know, and depending on how you react, and you shoot the projector or whatever, you know, it works out. I mean, could you imagine a group of programmers and a group of police officers, or for any use case, they could program all of these different outcomes within like a moment's notice live while you're going there. They could quickly change different outcomes in a completely different setting of a shooting arena. Like exactly, like you walk in and a guy's got a gun to a kid's head, and it's like, okay, you have to react. But maybe the next time you walk in, it's completely different. But instead of it being a flat 2D projector, you're actually in that space. I mean, we could talk all day about great ideas we have for the HoloLens. I mean, it's pretty crazy stuff. But yeah. Just
kinda,
like to, yeah, go ahead.
Kind of changing the subject. Did you guys ever hear about this new piece of technology called Pixie for iPhones and Apple products?
No, I haven't. Go ahead and tell me about it.
All right, so it's this augmented reality device. It's like, you guys know what Tile is? Tile? Like the GPS location things?
No.
No? Okay, so it's basically like these little chips that have GPS installed on them, as well as some other software that it helps you locate things that you've lost, or you put it on things that are valuable to you, like your phone or your keys or whatever. And let's say you misplace it, and it has the GPS capabilities on it, as well as an augmented reality feature. So let's say your keys are lost under your couch, and you pull out your iPhone, and you go, and it's leading you there with the GPS, and you're roughly in the same area. And then you pull out your phone's camera, and you're scanning over the couch, and there's like an X that marks the spot in augmented reality of where your keys are, and it's right there. And I thought that was a pretty cool piece of technology.
Oh yes, okay. I think I do remember this now that you're mentioning it. Now that I think about it, okay, yeah, that's an awesome example of like a third party application taking advantage of the AR environment, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is that something you could see yourself using every day, Austin?
Well, I mean, I don't lose my keys every day, but I'm sure it'd come in really big handy.
What's lost on you right now? What's the one item you're missing right now?
My wallet.
What's missing basically every day?
My wallet.
Exactly.
Well, I think that is a someone has to pay for lunch, it's missing.
Well, for obvious reasons.
So it's not lost for just getting played.
No, it's really not on me right now though.
So that's an awesome idea for cool applications and such, you know, to add on different, you know, I could see add-ons for HoloLens like that, where you put a little chip somewhere, or I don't know, lots of different ideas. Okay, so sorry, we got a couple other questions we got to catch up on.
Oh.
Let's see. What are your thoughts of dramatizations of VR, AR? Here are two of them, Hyperreality and Strange Beasts. Okay, well, I'm looking up Strange Beasts right now. You guys can just Google it, and it pops up right on Vimeo. And I am jumping through it. And so I don't... this just makes me think of something else. So I'll get back to. I always answer questions in really roundabout, wrong ways. So I'm gonna get to that. So my first exposure to mixed reality or to anything like that was this short film that someone made that was the future of mixed reality and advertising and stuff like that. And it's a really short film on Vimeo. Or maybe one of you three guys, while I'm talking about it, can search it and find it real quick. And it's and post it in the chat. It's just of a girl walking around in a mixed reality world, and it shows how many ads and how overwhelming it is, everything. And like people have their stats, and when you're in the store, it's all popping up and it's super overwhelming. And I think it's like you said, a dramatization, but I think it's a reality that is totally going to happen. We just went and saw Ghost in the Shell, right?
Yeah.
And they show mixed reality in that in a way that I think it'll be used with these huge whales up in the air, and
basically every scene was mixed reality in that
of
movie. Some
sorts. Yeah, like this is going to get a little bit inappropriate, but they were at like a strip club, and it was like mixed reality strippers and other stuff like that. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of other.
That's all you remember.
Thanks. So our thoughts on them. So a great example, Gerald, I don't know if you've seen it, if you've seen Black Mirror. I think Black Mirror kind of showcases the future in a than the AR VR can be. The video is hyper reality. Okay, sorry. I'm going to look up hyper reality real quick while I talk about this. So, Black Mirror is a TV show on Netflix, if you guys haven't seen it. Oh, hyper reality is the exact one I was talking about. I just didn't look it up. So yes, hyper reality is what I was talking about. Well, so there you go. There's my thoughts on hyper reality.
Thanks, Eric.
That's really funny, actually. So, yes, hyper reality. I can see this. I hope it doesn't get that way. But I mean, we see how invasive ads are now on browsers and in your face with advertisements. I mean, I can't see it not being like this. What do you guys think?
I'm the same way, and it didn't take very long for this to happen, because I remember like 2 years ago, like I'd be playing a game and I would not be bothered by apps every 2 to 3 minutes. But now, like, I don't know, think of like a game like, dang it, what's it called? Anyway, just like really any game you can think of. Like once your character dies or you have to restart something, you have to wait and watch something about Counter-Strike or something else, and that, I don't know, that just kind of turned me off from playing games on my phone. And I'm really sick of seeing all these apps, all these advertisements.
You're exactly right. It's this freeware, free advertisement mentality we have now is like, it's okay if we get it for free as long as we get ads just shoved down our throat. And I think with mixed reality, that's a very like fine line we're going to have to walk, and we're going to have to make sure we don't get into that mentality where it's like, as long as it's cheaper, we're okay with it. We need to have the mentality that we want quality over quantity, and we want to be able to, we want to see what we want to see, and we're okay paying for it, or we're okay, not experiencing it if it's going to affect our lives detrimentally affect our lives. And it's it'll be a hard culture shift, I think, because our culture right now is very ad friendly, and that we're totally okay with it. But I think services such as like YouTube Red, Netflix are starting to shift people's thoughts on this a little bit, where they're getting more willing to pay for something to not have to have. I feel like
we're moving to a more like subscription based world where we just pay from month to month for our products, at least with technology.
I think that's a good shift too, because just like hyper reality shows, it's like, sure, maybe he's got a free MR set and he's got all these cool free apps, but he has to have all of that crap in his face. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. What do you think, Alex? What do you think of advertising and mixed reality, how they'll go hand in hand? Do you think you'll like be able to block that, just like throw up an ad blocker and block it? Or do you think you're going to have to get that shoved down your throat? day to day?
I hope it's just as simple as an ad block thing, because I'm a very simplistic person. It can be kind of bad at times, but if I have to put forth extra effort to make an ad go away, I'm probably just gonna stop doing what I'm doing to keep seeing the ad. Like if I keep playing a game and ads keep popping up, I'm just gonna quit playing the game. So, with this virtual reality and mixed reality stuff, I really hope that people just kind of don't degrade it and just shove ads down our throats. Because, I don't know, that'll just kind of take away from the experience and take away from just how wonderful it really is,
So there's kind of our rough thoughts on that. That was a very bounce back, roundabout way to get to your answer, which is still really ambiguous. Sorry about that. Joseph asks, how has the response to Holo Herald? How has the response been to Holo Herald? Has it exceeded your expectations? The community response? Just curious. Well, Joseph, that is a great question, and we're looking forward to answering that for you later. But so I could give you a brief summary of that right now. So the Holo Herald came about as for anybody that doesn't know, it was me and Paul during the summer, and we've always been good at predicting things. We don't want to get cocky or prideful or anything like that. We've found that we've been all right at predicting things such as Bitcoin or 3D printing or VR or anything, basically. AR, Google Glass. Google Glass fell off a little bit. And we've always felt like we've been pretty decent at predicting these technologies. But as younger kids, we've never had the capital or the know-how to get invested into these communities or to get invested into these technologies. And the Holo Herald, the HoloLens came around a time that was just perfect for us financially and time-wise and everything. And we decided that this was going to be our entrance into like advanced technologies to get into the scene. So we started looking at the HoloLens and we loved it. We're like, this is just totally captivated us. We were like, this is awesome. This is totally the future. This is how everything's going to be. Maybe not in this device exactly, but mixed reality is completely the future. We completely believe in it. And we just dove right in. We couldn't really afford a $3,000 HoloLens, so we asked around and we got some money and we got some capital. We got a HoloLens. And before we decided to get one, we decided, how are we going to fit into this technology? How are we going to fit into this community? And we realized that there really wasn't a community. The mixed reality and the HoloLens specifically was extremely programmer and developer and business oriented. There was no avenue for your average Joe to just look up content that wasn't an ad from Microsoft or wasn't an ad for someone else's ad, And we decided that this was a perfect spot for us to fit in, to show it to the masses, to do things that people wouldn't normally do with the HoloLens, and to just have fun with mixed reality with this new technology and show it to people in a way that they've never seen before. And that was kind of our avenue. So we got it and we started making content for it, and it took off. Just like insane growth. The first days, we probably got our first 500, 600 subscribers within a month or two, insane growth. Like if we look at our analytics, it was just shoot up, but then life hit us kind of hard, and Paul had to go back to school, and I got a new job, and it was this sweet spot time where Pokemon Go just came out, and everybody was obsessed with AR, and it was this big rebirth of AR. I'm sure you noticed it. This in the last year, about 2016 summer of 2016 is kind of when AR really got a rebirth, and it was awesome for us. It was awesome for our content. It was awesome for our channel and the community. It was great for the community, and then life kind of hit us hard, like I said, and we stopped making content for a little while. And that totally kind of killed our growth at that point. And then we decided, hey, we just need to get back into this. We just need to go full force at it again. And it's kind of been a struggle to get back into it, hasn't it, guys?
Oh, yeah. It's been a slow crawl. I hopped on the team when I got back from Michigan. We were at about 700 subscribers. And with making the videos and editing the videos and doing all that, the community is actually really, really quite awesome, and the response that we get and the feedback we get is awesome, and we're really quite grateful for that. And we're trying our darndest. I know we're not the most technical of people, and we make a lot of mistakes, but we're working really hard, and we're trying to make the best quality content for you guys.
Yes, exactly. And then we decided to bring on Alex because we decided to move on to some other ventures as well as keeping the Holo Herald going. And so they've kind of been handling the channel quite a bit. And so they've really seen like they've kind of handled the direction the channel's going and everything like that. But so the idea, so it's a good discussion about the mixed reality community in general. And I think there's kind of it's a hard topic to get into about the community because there's a couple different types. There's a couple different people that make up what we call the mixed reality community that we've noticed, at least from our channel and from the forums and the Reddits and everything we go to. I haven't seen any of the comments, so I'll get to those in just a moment. And we see a couple different people. We see very, very heavy tech savvy people, just like very into the ideology and the specs of mixed reality. Not so much the apps, not so much this. They're just really excited about the tech behind it. And then we see the people that are just see the ideas and see the possible endless ideas. And those are kind of basically our the two members that make up this community. And we definitely cater to more to one angle than we do, and we kind of anchor one of the other communities. I'll let you guess which community is which that we anchor. But that's one thing we want people to realize is that our channel is a lot more for just having fun and seeing mixed reality in a way that nobody else is showcasing it. And but some people just don't really get that, I guess. But you're bound to have that in every way. If we were the other way, we would have haters the other way. So you can't please everybody. We're just excited we want to foster the community towards our channel and towards not our channel specifically, but we want our channel to be an avenue for people to enter the community and get more into it. Sorry, that was a really long answer to that question. I'm gonna move on. Blah blah blah. Black Mirror. Yes, I talked about that forever ago. Hyperreality video is a good example of where companies willfully ignore letting people opt in instead of opting out. It's a great example. I interviewed Sky Zhu, who is very impressed with the Holo community. Says it is a thriving, tons of cool posts via Reddit and other forums. He's so right. It's really blossoming right now. It's kind of died down a little bit, but I think summer of this year, we're going to see a really big resurge again. And then Paul's been talking back and forth. There are some companies that provide Google Cardboard headsets if you buy their app. Sorry, guys. We'll probably edit this out for the post version. Can I just say thank you for joining us for the stream real quick? And I'm not going to end the podcast. Normally I say thank you when we're going to end, but we're probably going to end here. We're probably going to be wrapping up here in the next 10 minutes or so. But I just want to say thanks again for joining for the live stream. I mean, this has been awesome. We've never had this response for our live stream, and
this is
yeah, this turnout has been a lot of fun.
And thanks for joining us. And if you guys have friends that are into this and stuff, tell them about it. Sharing it is like the biggest thing we can do. I'll let you guys talk for half a moment while I read through these comments. Someone, please, just talk.
Austin.
Oh,
you usually have some very wise input.
Not normally.
No, I'm just kidding,
so
man.
Alex,
Sorry, go ahead.
Eric,
wait, what?
No, I was just going to say, Alex, how have you seen the community grown since you've been here?
Well, one thing I've noticed is I got on around the beginning of February, and, we kind of did the whole stereotypical, like, subscribe, and comment down below. And as the months kind of went on, it kind of turned into more of a plea than a call to action. But now, we've seen in the last few weeks, we've seen a whole bunch of comments coming through, ideas and input, and it's been a lot of fun. And as you guys have noticed, a couple of comments have inspired videos, and we've been able to take those and answer questions with videos, and that's been a lot of fun to be able to see the community kind of giving back, giving to us ideas, and that's honestly been one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. People saying, "Hey, Alex," or "Hey, Eric," or "Austin, do this," or "What about this?" And that's been really, really cool. At the end of the videos, we say thank you. We mean that, because that it means a lot to hear and see people feeding off of our stuff, but then giving us ideas. I just can't explain just how, not quite warm and fuzzy, but how great that is to be able to see that from our community. And it really does mean a lot.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, we've really kind of pushed our agenda instead of like, hey, subscribe, if you enjoyed this content. We've kind of shifted it to more to like, hey, share this with your friends, because we're sure the thing about it is we're sure that everybody will be interested in mixed reality technology, whether they know it or not. At some point in time, they're going to be invested in this technology. And so showing it to them and giving them that little bit of a taste is kind of like they saw it before it was a thing. And that's kind of a cool for people to say, and I think it's a really great place for people to be right now.
So Eric, you're really thinking we should get that hipster jar then?
Exactly. the tech hipsters, the nerd hipsters. We're nerds. We're nerds now, but we're gonna be like revolutionary. No, I'm just kidding. But good content carries the days. You're hitting the sweet spot. Perfect. Thanks, Joseph. Well, Joseph, we're gonna get you some of that info. So we can't wait to talk with you, and we'll get you some of that info. Guys, have we covered all our news sources?
Yeah, I think that's everything we had on the agenda for today.
Alex, how about you?
I'm good on my end.
Alex,
we're all good here.
Oh, Eric, you should tell these guys about the upcoming reality check.
Okay, this is a perfect time to Avenue. So thanks for joining us, Wayward Productions. I'll get to your comments in just a moment. So we're going to be starting a new series, speaking of the community, and we've seen this explosive growth in content with developers putting out more stuff, Microsoft pushing new stuff, and so much has been happening so rapidly these past couple months. And I mean, I've seen this in the past couple weeks. I've seen this huge shift in mixed reality content on YouTube, and it's getting hard for just an everyday person to keep up with everything. So we're gonna start a new series. It's gonna be called Reality Check. And it's going to be released every week, and it's just going to be all of the coolest mixed reality content we could find from the week before, all focused around HoloLens, Meta, Fragments, just cool things that people are doing in the community, cool companies that are doing cool things, cool technologies that are being released. It'll just be a short little video just wrapping up the whole week.
Yeah, the idea is just like a highlight reel, like 2 minutes.
Yep. Like, hey, check out this. We'll link to all the videos, kind of like Philip DeFranco's little, he's got a segment that he does of cool videos and stuff like that. We'll kind of do something like that. But, and that has really been because we've seen, we've thought about that before, but we've really never seen a need for it until now. Now it's getting really hard to keep up with the content that's coming out and the stuff people are making, because people are making so much stuff. It's just impossible to keep up. So if you guys find anything cool, that we may not see, or if you guys are doing anything cool, go ahead. You guys can hit us up on Twitter at the Holo Herald, or you can just leave it as a YouTube message or a private message or a comment, and we'll see it and we'll put it in the video. So just be looking for that. Anyways, Wayward just dropped in and he says, hey, he loved Fragments video. Fragments is amazing. Thanks for watching our stuff. He says he's a game designer. Have you looked into making your own games with the system? We've actually we've thought about it. We're thinking about making a series about 3 idiots try to dev for the HoloLens.
It's gonna be awesome.
Wayward, if you're a game designer, get the HoloLens, man, and just enjoy it. If you have the money and you have the capital, because it is extremely, as a developer and as a web developer, I could even make stuff on the HoloLens. That's how awesome the SDK is, and that's how awesome it is. And so, yeah, so if you have that opportunity to be able to get your hands on one, and especially with the new $300, $400 devices coming out, totally look to grabbing one of those and getting your hands in the game before everybody else, because being first is a lot of times more important than being the best. So, yeah, totally worth it. Joseph asked if we were going to the AWE conference in Santa Clara. This is something we've also been talking about. You're hitting on all of our topics that we have been talking about. We have been talking about going to the conferences, and Paul probably just answered it, I think. And exactly, we don't have quite enough capital or anything to get to those conferences now, but we really want to start networking, and we really want to start getting to know the people, and getting to know the people that are creating these things. We want to actually know them instead of just like through YouTube or through stuff. We actually want to meet these people, these developers and these designers, and we want to network with them so badly. And but we just don't have the ability to quite yet. But we're getting there. You're gonna start seeing us in conventions and stuff soon, we hope. Joe, we're totally with you, man. The more in-depth videos like Fragments is what I'm looking for. Full ramifications of the powers of the system. We're going to start doing deep dive videos soon, so look for those. And so watch for those. Wayward, we're going to be making deep dive systems. And thanks for so yeah, I guess we're probably going to start wrapping things up here. Thank you guys so much for joining the podcast live. This is our like fourth time doing it live, and this is probably the best turnout we've ever had. And we hope that if you guys are listening to the pre-recorded version, that you guys are able to join us next week and join the conversation. We've had a lot of messages that we've missed because people have just been chatting away. And if you're into that and you're into listening to us and you have the time, please come join us for the live stream. We love to have it. It's the best way to interact back and forth. But if you aren't, go ahead and leave a comment down below if you had any thoughts about anything we were saying. If you hated it, leave a comment. If you loved it, leave a comment. Most likely, if you hated it, you're going to be leaving a comment. But yes, and thank you for... Sorry. And thanks for joining us live. Go ahead, Austin.
And I know we suck at social networking and all of that, but we're working on it, and we'll try and get more Twitter posts out, Instagram, all that jazz. So if you can follow us on that, that really helps. Yeah, and like we're working really hard.
What is that again? Where can they follow us at?
At the Holo Herald on Instagram, Twitter, and if we've been discussing, please share us with your friends if that's something you'd be interested in. It's the kind of direction we want to head. But yeah, thanks guys for listening. We really appreciate this.
Any closing words, Alex?
Just a big thank you to all our supporters here on the live podcast, the live stream, and to everybody listening at home on the recorded version. You know, big thanks to everybody and the support we've gotten. It's been great, and it's going to help us achieve bigger and better things.
Yes, perfect. So, okay, Wayward's getting his last throw in there. We'll go ahead and give a shout out. Hashtag Making Games Live. He's got a Patreon. I don't know what you can Google. So he says, actual CSI are using HoloLens in Atlanta PD. Look it up. Joe does everything but Instagram, and Gerald's saying peace out. So I think that's the end for it for us, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on the live stream. Thank you for joining us on the post podcast, and we will see you next week, same time. This will be released on Thursday or Friday morning. And yes, have a good one. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.